So there's no way for him, not this time, and I mean that.
And I think he has to put a lot more pressure on Harding in this fight, because I'm preparing for Harding to try to assume the role of being a boxer more so in this bout coming up than in the last fight. And as a result, I think that Andries is going to have to apply a lot more pressure to take him out of his schedule of fight plan and to make him come down to the level where it'll be a much more physical fight, because Andries is prepared more physically for this fight, I think, than Harding is.
I just want to beat this guy bad. I owe him one.
Alongside, as always, Alex Wallow. And Alex, you and I were there last year. So much has been said about last year's fight. But nonetheless, when you talk about these two fighters, we've got two great stories.
That's right, Dan. Jeff Harding is the world champion, making his third title defense, but he is also still just a raw 24-year-old kid with only 17 pro fights. He was able to win a title before he really knew how to fight, because his heart and his chin and his incredible resiliency overcame his lack of defense. But in his preparation for this fight, he's been working very hard on movement to try to avoid the Andries power. Jeff knows that unless he develops some defensive skills, his reign as champion will be spectacular, but very, very brief. As for the former champion Dennis Andries at age 36, and some say much older, it is hard to believe that he will get better for this fight, but Dennis appears very confident that he is better prepared, primarily because he has had the full-time attention of Emmanuel Stewart throughout his training, and because Dennis says he made the weight properly this time, without the 2-day starvation that he claims depleted his strength in the first fight. So because of their lack of technical skill, this fight won't be pretty, but Dan, because of their aggressive styles and their tremendous hearts, it should be very exciting.
Let's take a look at the numbers for this fight, the tail of the tape. Dennis Andries, clearly the biggest difference between the two is in age, where Andries is 11 years older than Jeff Harding. 36-25. WBC rules are in effect today, the 10-point must system. There is no standing 8, no 3 knockdown rule, and a fighter can only be saved by the bell in the final round. And only the referee can stop the fight, and the referee for today's bout is Arthur Mercante, the 70-year-old ring veteran, one of the great referees of all time. The seconds are being cleared. We are ready to go for the WBC Light Heavyweight Championship of the World. Jose Juan Guerra, Chuck Giampa, and Tom Kaczmarek are 3 scoring judges. Everything's in order, and away we go. Dennis Andries, the challenger, wearing the gold trunks. Clearly you can see Andries across the front. Jeff Harding wearing all black. And Alex, we can only hope.
Yeah, the odds makers don't think it will be as competitive, Dan. They've made Jeff Harding a 2-to-1 favorite, better than 2-to-1, primarily because of the site. Boxers traditionally have a terrible time performing at their peak after the long trip to Australia.
As Alex mentioned, the last fight was dominated early by Dennis Andries.
You see there, Jeff Harding trying to move to his right, away from the Andries right hand that gave him so much trouble, especially in the early rounds of the first fight.
Jeff Harding has always been a fighter willing to take 2 to give 1. There you saw right hand from Dennis Andries. That last left really hit the gloves, but still had enough on it to move Harding back.
He has been willing to trade the pass, Dan. I think Jeff recognizes that when he steps up to...
There's a good solid right hand. He hit the glove, but still knocked Harding's glove back into his face with enough force to snap his head back.
I was just saying, I think Jeff realizes that when he steps up and tries to go for one of those unification fights, he cannot be so willing to absorb punishment.
And it is a grim and determined Dennis Andries here in round number 1. Halfway through the first round.
Jeff Harding knows that he can't depend upon lightning striking twice. He cannot allow Dennis Andries to get off to that kind of a lead again. Then the right hand.
Neither fighter had much trouble making the 175-pound weight. Andries, in a real change of pace, came in at 174 1/4, and as Alex mentioned, he had difficulty making weight a year ago and blamed that on his performance.
Both fighters doing a little bit better defensive work. Harding is blocking some punches with something other than his chin.
Jeff Harding told us yesterday he even planned on flipping punches, something he's been working on, and that would be a revelation. Good double jab by Andries, followed by a solid right to the rib.
So despite what Jeff Harding said about knowing he had to get off to a faster start, Dennis Andries has set the pace here in the opening round.
The majority of the good punches in this round have been landed by Andries.
He's been getting off first. Jeff Harding has been waiting a little bit too much.
The Australian crowd is as quiet as their fighter's been here in round number 1. Here we go in the second round. Well, and again, it's Dennis Andries that comes out swinging
and loading up more this round.
Well, you heard Emmanuel Stewart between rounds 1 and 2 telling Dennis Andries, stop throwing the right hand to the body. I want you to keep throwing the right hand, but I want it to go to the chin, not to the ribs.
And that's very unusual for...
Oh, and there is that right hand that goes over the top and lands.
Very unusual for a trainer to tell his man to not work the body. Generally, they try to get him away from head hunting. Here, Emmanuel wants his man to go after the head.
Very reminiscent of the start of the last fight. It has been Dennis Andries exacting a toll on Jeff Harding.
He has not yet cut Jeff Harding, and that's going to be an interesting thing to watch, Dan. This fight was originally scheduled for June 2nd. It was postponed because a cut that Jeff suffered in his last defense in March reopened in May, and it was postponed until today.
I was going to say, you say that like a guy that doesn't have a lot of confidence. We're not even 4 minutes into the fight, and...
Well, remember, he was cut about 30 seconds into the first fight.
He opens up easily.
He opened up everywhere in that first fight. Over both eyes, broken nose.
Bleeding from the mouth.
He has not yet even begun to find his rhythm.
Well, he hasn't let his hands go at all.
And that may be because he's concentrating on learning new things. It's always tough, you know, to learn things in the gym. Again, the Andries right hand gets home, Dan. Jeff Harding is a key. You can just see him thinking in there about the things he's been learning from his new trainer in terms of movement and defense.
Maybe Jeff Harding thinks because he's the younger man, the longer this fight goes on, the more it suits me. But still, it's a strategy that's based upon taking a lot of punishment if that's intentional.
Good jab by both men there.
And again, Jeff Harding, though, with the left hand a little low, pays for it by letting an Andries right come over the top.
Crowd excited by a little bit of Harding work, but a lot of those were slaps.
Again, the right hand from Andries. Now Harding is doing a good job most of the time of keeping both gloves up alongside his face. A lot of Dennis Andries' jabs are catching gloves.
Here's a little bit of movement from Jeff Harding. He tried to throw a punch with it and missed badly. New thing.
Still, I think Jeff Harding's opinion of Dennis Andries in this fight all boils down to his one statement. He's a year older and I'm a year better. We've got 10 rounds to find out if that's true.
That's the sort of him out. All right, nothing wrong.
I didn't take a point.
Let's hear a corner. Got a box more. Going to take a point off him if he does it again. Now look, son. You've got to fucking stop that right hand. And you've got to keep that left hand up high. Now look, he's dropping his right when he's leading. He's dropping his right, so you're going to lead in there and left. Try and step inside it. Get your right hand up and step inside it and give it to him. Come on, son, you can do it. Come on, you can do it. It's hard. It's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. But we knew it wasn't going to be easy, didn't we? Yeah. Now get out there now. Come on, and bloody will get that work off your bloody left hand. and jab, 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 and don't stop, son. Come on, you can do it. Come on. Come on, down. Don't worry about it.
Both fighters out of their stools a good 10 seconds before the end of the break. Anxious to get the third round underway. We are here in Melbourne, Australia at the National Tennis Center. I'm Dan Deerdorf along with Alex Wallow, and we're here for the WBC light heavyweight title fight. The title that's held by Jeff Harding, the Australian, formerly held by Dennis Andries, the challenger there on your left. And Alex, the first 2 rounds clearly belonged to Dennis Andries.
Yeah, I thought the second was a little bit closer, but still gave it to Andries. You see Harding trying to move to his right occasionally, Dan, to stay away from the Andries right hand. It is not something that's natural for a right-handed fighter to do, and he looks very awkward trying to do it.
There is Emmanuel Stewart, the head honcho of the Crown Gym. He spent 3 solid weeks here with Dennis Andries and blames Andries' last defeat on the fact that he didn't arrive until the night before the fight in Atlantic City. Says I let him down. They've been here in Melbourne for 2 weeks, where Dennis has even wowed the locals, Alex, by even talking about moving here to Australia.
He was tongue in cheek. They didn't know it, yeah. Many fewer good, solid scoring punches here than in the first fight, Dan. Much more missing.
Jeff Harding, Alex, just hasn't learned to throw a lot of his punches with leverage. There's a right hand that lands, but still it was basically an arm punch.
Yeah, he's a straight-up kid who does not get leverage except with the left hook to the body, and I'm really surprised that so far he has really neglected the Andries. Oh, he's hurt!
Oh, a good left hand by Dennis Andries, and you can see it wobbled the legs of Harding.
And it didn't seem to be that clean a punch, Dan.
It landed right on the forehead, though. And you could see Harding rocked back and then decided to try to come in, and his legs almost gave way. We're in the third round here in Melbourne. About 45 seconds left.
The Andries corner yelling at him to keep throwing the right hand.
And Jeff Harding looks stiff, Alex. Oh, and another good right hand from Dennis Andries. Another right hand.
And now you're going to see, I think, Jeff Harding revert to form. I think all that stuff he just learned about movement and defense, he's just going to have to go out and throw punches.
Again, I think back to the last fight and how we kept saying how Dennis Andries has to reach a point in the fight where he says, what do I have to hit this guy with to take him out? Again, Dennis Andries lands lots of solid blows on Jeff Harding, and Harding is still around. We're at the end of the third.
That's right, you've got a box now, make it a box. Now look, he's tight, and if you can lift your bloody game up and make him move and make him miss a bit, you'll get him in a few rounds.
Now we are back in the fourth round. Action just underway. At the end of the third, a slight cut opened up underneath the left eye of Jeff Harding. Did not bleed profusely, but it's something to keep a close look on here as we move through the fourth. Dennis Andries again comes over with that big right hand.
That one just missed.
Crowd reacts to just about anything Harding's going to do. Alex, you made a comment to me. Looks like Harding's going to revert back to form.
Yeah, I mean the other way wasn't working for him. He just looked very stiff and passive. Yeah, I think he's just got to concentrate on going out and letting his hands go.
There's a couple scoring jabs by Jeff Harding. You can see there is blood around the left eye, and there's a good right hand by Dennis Andries that Lands right on that left eye of Harding. Jeff Harding scoring with that jab. I don't think he's doing a lot of punishment with it, but he's scoring.
He's disrupting Dennis Andries. He's backing him up. He's making him reset his own offense.
Well, for the first time, Dennis Andries is fighting someone who's throwing some punches back.
There's one way to make him stop throwing the jab. Swing a right hand right over the top of it.
Clearly, Dennis Andries is looking to win this fight by loading up with a big right hand. Been his weapon of choice so far. Again, he rocks back, lands another uppercut, and Jeff Harding is eating Dennis Andries' right hand with regularity.
And he had a very, very steady diet of him in the first fight, especially in the early rounds, and he just hasn't solved the problem. We must say that Andries has not gotten home the volume nor the quality of right hands that he did in the first fight. And the punch that got Harding a little bit of trouble was the left hook.
But one thing is familiar, and that's that both of these guys spend the majority of their time in the center of the ring.
And right in front of each other.
Yeah. The longer this fight goes on, I think we'll see less and less footwork.
Again, the Harding jab backing Andries up.
The best round of the fight for Jeff Harding. We're at the end of 4. The crowd begins to come alive here at the National Tennis Center in Melbourne. They saw a 4th round where their man Jeff Harding exhibited some life.
And again, the Harding jab starting to dictate the pace a little bit. Dennis Andries is still getting home some right hands, but the use of the jab has really gotten Jeff back into this fight.
But still, if you were to count the really good shots that have landed in this fight so far, the vast majority have been landed by Dennis Andries. We are in round number 5, scheduled for 12 for the WBC Light Heavyweight Championship.
The man in the inset there is Michael Moore, who's traveled down here with his stablemate Dennis Andries. He is the World Boxing Organization, WBO Light Heavyweight Champion. Rooting here for his stablemate to win the WBC Light Heavyweight Champion.
And really, with his presence, Alex, he makes the light heavyweight division one of the most talented divisions in all of boxing.
Yeah, one of the most interesting, the most exciting. He is just a vicious puncher.
You know, Virgil Hill and Prince Charles Williams, these two in the ring right now. Bobby Ches, you know, we saw an Andrew Maynard stumble last month. Again, Jeff Harding scores with a couple uppercuts. But again, they were scoring punches, I don't think very damaging. There's a good left, and again, the jab of Jeff Harding disrupting Andries. Again, blood around the left eye of Harding. He is streaked along the side of his head. Dennis Andries moving backwards more and more.
I mean, we have him ahead in this fight. I have him ahead in this fight, Dan, but we must say that despite his statements, Dennis does not look better than he did in the first fight so far.
Big right hand just tickled the chin of Harding. And again, it's age, Alex. He tired badly in the last fight. He is a year older. How old he is, I'm not quite sure, but a year older for sure. Oh, and a good right hand by Andries. Again, Harding a little lax and letting the left get low.
I'm just amazed. Oh, another one. He loaded that one up. I'm amazed Harding has ignored the body.
Oh, there's a good right counter by Jeff Harding.
Jeff Harding, except for a few punches at the end of round 4, has ignored the body work that got him so much done in the first fight.
Pressure on him now, son, you've got him. But you've got to keep it up. You keep that left hand up. See, when you jab, bring it back quick. You must bring the jab back quick.
He's only holds that right hand.
Now look, it's the only one he's got left is his right hand. If you can keep away from that, you've got him. You're winning these rounds now. You're winning these rounds now. Now, come on, you can do it, son.
Come on, Jeffrey.
You must keep jabbing. Just spit it out. You must keep jabbing, son. Keep it jabbing. Keep yourself hands up. Keep yourself nice and tight. Get them up. Get your hands up, son.
And the bell sounds for the beginning of the 6th round here at the National Tennis Center in Melbourne, Australia. Dan Deerdorf and Alex Wallow are ringside. Hope you're enjoying this one for the WBC Light Heavyweight Championship, held by the man on the left, formerly held by the man on the right. Who lost it? To the man who sat on the right. One of the great fights of 1989. Jeff Harding won the championship with a 12th round TKO of Dennis Andries. Andries trying to return the favor, again off to a strong start. But the last 2 rounds, the momentum seems to be switching in favor of the Australian.
Yeah, the resiliency in Dennis Andries is just not there right now. Harding is doing some work, and it's having more effect on Dennis than his history as a fighter would indicate. And that just has to be age. I mean, he just has to be a guy who at age 36, and as we said, some say as old as in his 40s, it's just not there. You know, he still has that big right hand, and he has been landing it in isolated. I mean, even in that last round, which I gave to Harding, Dennis scored 2 very, very big right hands, and he's still capable of getting Harding in trouble with it. But he just has not been as active as he was in the first fight or earlier in this fight.
We'd like to remind our local ABC stations that at the end of this round, we will be taking a station break. There's a right uppercut by Dennis Andries. Those punches by Harding, rather, landed on gloves.
Yeah, but they weren't real big punches, and yet they backed Dennis all the way over onto the ropes. It's just the power and the strength is there in moments like that right hand, but it's just not there for the 3 minutes of the round.
But the right hand, he landed 2 of them within 5 seconds, and they're good scoring punches, but they really don't seem to have any effect on Jeff Harding. I mean, in that respect, this is so much like the first fight. Andries landed punch after punch, and Jeff Harding just was unfazed. Bloodied, but if you looked at the rest of him, the way he threw punches, the way he moved, it didn't seem to have a great effect.
Again, Jeff Harding using the jab to good effect, but not using any body punches. It seems like the emphasis on the left jab has just gotten away from that left hook to the body that was his most effective weapon in the first fight. That really did all the damage of wearing Dennis Andries down for the knockout late in the fight.
Well, if this fight goes the distance, at the end of this round, we'll be halfway home.
Come on, son, you can do it. You're winning all the rounds now.
Come on, Alice, get down.
Don't be stupid. Don't let him get you with those silly right hands, son. Mate. You can keep the pressure on him, but you've got to do it from the left hand. Keep yourself tight. Keep yourself tight. You've got to keep yourself tight, Jim. Keep yourself tight. Just spit out. It's all right. Don't worry about it. Keep yourself nice and tight all the time. Come on, you must keep yourself tight, son.
As usual, they meet in the middle here at the beginning of the 7th round. And Alex, between rounds, you made a good observation about the way Dennis Andries closed the 6th.
Well, I thought he stole the 6th with some hard shots.
Look at him come out here in the 7th. Dennis Andries pummeling Jeff Harding. And Harding a little lax in blocking some of those blows. Again, another right hand gets between the gloves. Uppercuts are scoring.
And this has to shock Jeff Harding because, I mean, I think he just thought he was getting on top. And the Dennis Andries is winding down, and here he comes out like a ball of fire to start the second half of the fight.
Boy, but this is a strategy that could backfire on Andries if he doesn't take Harding out. You wonder what this is going to do to his stamina, not only for the balance of this round, but for the balance of the fight. And you can already see the blows from Dennis Andries slowing and becoming more and more like arm punches.
He's punched himself out of it, but he'll understand the arm work. Oh, that left again, the left hurts Harding.
And you
and
can
again,
see,
it didn't look like that with the left hand, Dan.
It didn't, but clearly you can see Harding's legs went stiff. Jeff Harding appeared to be staggered by that Andries shot. But I don't know how much Andries has left to give here in the 7th. Both fighters at this point looking tired. And you saw Dennis Andries miss with a right and just kind of stagger after it.
Dennis is exhausted, but Jeff just doesn't have anything to put on him right now.
Still a little over a minute left in this round. Oh, and there is a knockdown. A big, wild right hand catches Jeff Harding, who's still on the mat.
His left eye is cut. It's now streaming blood.
Jeff Harding didn't get up! Jeff Harding didn't get up! Acting like he was in control. Waited too long to get up. And a knockout for Dennis Andries here in the 7th round. And talk about a shocked crowd in Melbourne.
So what a tremendous result for the old man of boxing. 36-year-old Dennis Andries fought so well against the young champion Harding, some 11 years between them. Andries then the first Briton to win a world title 3 times. He says he now wants to defend his crown back in England, hopefully before the end of the year. And he's got plenty to celebrate.